Hi, my name is Diamonique Robinson, and the chapter I was assigned was chapter 13. In this chapter, we discussed the Elaboration Likelihood Model. The concept I've chosen within the chapter was speaker credibility. I decided to choose speaker credibility because it was really important whenever public speaking in any sense. Speaker credibility is the perception an audience has on a speaker's message, expertise, and their character. Speaker's credibility has the power to determine whether a member of their audience actually believes and trusts what they have to say. The more credible you are in the eyes of your audience, the more likely you are to achieve the purpose of your speech. This could be used when someone's trying to persuade you into buying a new shade of cologne, listening to new music, or anything in that matter. Or it can be used when someone's telling you just a story to just tell you a story. I can relate the speaker credibility to a real life situation by discussing a time when someone's speaker credibility affected the way I viewed the story that they were telling me in a situation between the stuff they had done in the past. A coworker I known was telling me a story about a time they went to a concert, and throughout the concert they pointed out crazy things that happened that night. They discussed how they met a celebrity and how they were doing crazy things at bars and drinking getting crazy drinks for free and just doing crazy stuff. And since they had already been known to exaggerate stories in the past, it made me hard to believe the story that they were telling me in that moment. And they had little proof of the things that they were doing, so it made it even harder to believe the things that they were telling me. So I just sat there picking out pieces of their story, being like, oh, I don't believe that happened, just in my head, not out loud, obviously, and just picking out the pieces and not believing anything. And this really glossed over the actual point of them telling that they had a good time at the concert. Now that I've discussed my experience, I will now make some inferences. Since my coworker has had a track record of not being completely honest, his credibility has been tarnished in a sense and made it harder for a person to believe anything that they had to say, no matter how real the story actually was. The story could have been completely real and I wouldn't have believed a second of it because he had always been super exaggeration with his stories in the past. He can honestly tell me a story about what he ate for dinner the night before and I wouldn't believe it because of the past, like I said. Once someone's credibility has been affected in a negative light, it could be hard for that credibility to be gained back no matter how hard one tries. So he could tell me a million different stories and he could be completely honest, but just because a few times a long time ago he exaggerated and will make it hard for me to believe anything. Now that I made some inferences, I will discuss how these inferences can be transferred to other situations. This can be used anytime someone's trying to persuade you into doing things, like I said earlier, or thinking a certain way, or listening to different music just by listening to the things they have to say. This could take away from someone's point of their story. Say their whole point was just to tell you they had a good time, and you're not even paying attention to what they're actually saying. You're just picking apart their stories. If a person has shown that they are not credible, it could be way easier to do this instead of actually listening to it, like I've said. In conclusion, the book's definition of speaker's credibility is a brief description of how the perception of a person can affect the things that they're saying. This can happen in any social situation, no matter if it's giving a speech to a big audience or telling a story to a few colleagues. So if a person does not think that they can not only not trust you, but also feel as if you're competent, this will make it easier for a person not to trust the things that you're saying. Speaker's credibility is important whenever you need to present something publicly, no matter what. If you don't have good credibility, no matter on what you're saying or the topic or anything like that, a person's not going to be able to believe you. And that's it. Thank you.